and a very warm welcome to this special. We're building up to the match that is being played between Lucknow Super Giants and Royal Challengers Bangalore at the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Mumbai. KL Rahul in red hot form. Faf Du Plessis, can he get some runs tonight? That's the question. KL Rahul versus Faf Du Plessis, and the news from the D.Y. Patil Stadium is that Lucknow Super Giants have won the toss and, following the trend, have decided to bowl first. So teams still sticking by that tried and tested rule of bowling first and chasing in the tournament. Though at this point, I think there are some matches that have been won. More than a couple of matches, I think, have been won by teams batting first as well. But teams going in with the same thing of winning the toss and bowling first. No changes for Lucknow Super Giants and RCB as well. They've gone in with unchanged 11s, and if you just look at the playing 11, we'll get to that as well. It's a team for Royal Challengers Bangalore with a solid bowling unit, but it's the batsmen, specifically the top order. Can they fire tonight? It is imperative for the top order to fire. They haven't done so. Faf Du Plessis scored some runs in the first game. Virat Kohli 40 runs, 41 in that game, but since then they haven't been able to score runs. Dinesh Karthik, the standout performer and the leading run scorer for Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Yeah, absolutely, Maya. The story for RCB so far has been contributions from the low order, spectacular contributions from the low order, with Dinesh Karthik shining with the bat and Shahbaz Ahmed also contributing handsomely, and a very fine bowling unit led by Hasaranga, Harshad Patel, Josh Hazelwood. Faf Du Plessis and Virat Kohli haven't fired yet. They've just scored 150 and 120 runs respectively at strike rates of 120 odd, which is poor for the batsmen of their caliber, especially for Faf, who was scoring above 140 for CSK the previous two editions. Virat Kohli needs to rediscover himself. Time is running out. Questions are being raised. So it's high time that both of them at the business end of the tournament, now when every match matters, for a position in the top 4 fire.
Okay, so that is Royal Challengers Bangalore. Like we said, Lucknow Super Giants have also gone in with their unchanged 11. Let's take a look at that. Lucknow Super Giants, if top order is struggling for RCB, this top order needs... they've just been scoring runs non-stop. KL Rahul, the captain, leading from the front, a fantastic 100 in the last game. Quinton de Kock again, just consistent, Mr. Consistent, Quinton de Kock. Also the strike rate at which he's batting. I mean, this is by far the best opening in the IPL. Okay, then at number 3 is Manish Pandey. Again, number 3 is a slot that no one's been able to really grab. They've tried a couple of players, but Manish Pandey is who they've gone in with. Again, Ayush Padoni, we've seen how brilliant a talent he is in the first couple of matches. Marcus Stoinis fitting right into this team, and I'm wondering if they'd like to promote Marcus Stoinis up. Maybe in place of Manish Pandey, given that Marcus Stoinis has been looking so good. Deepak Huda, Krunal Pandya, Jason Holder did well in the first game that he played. After that has been expensive. Dushmanta Chamira also expensive. Avesh Khan, the standout bowler for them. Ravi Bishnoi. Teams are being cautious against Ravi Bishnoi. They want to play out those 4 overs from him, so he hasn't really been getting the wickets that Lucknow Super Giants would have liked. Yeah, I mean, the story for them has been Rahul and Quinton de Kock firing, the 2 best, most consistent openers in the IPL so far, and this plethora of, all-rounders, Stoinis, Krunal Pandya, Deepak Huda, one after the other. So they've been, so that is the crux and the USP of this team. The number 3 position still remains a challenge, as you mentioned. Only 64 runs in 6 innings at a strike rate of not even 90. So that is poor. And number 3 is a very crucial position, Maya. One of the openers fails, there is pressure. I think they're making a mistake playing Manish Pandey. I think they should promote Stoinis, get in an extra bowler, because they frankly don't need Manish Pandey that he's past his prime. But they are going for his experience. Otherwise, Bishnoi, yes, you're right. People are playing out the googly specialist. Chamira has been expensive but bowled well in class. Avesh Khan, their best bowler. Holder, very good at the death, slightly expensive. So a very good all-round team. Maybe lacking a world-class
pacer from overseas, but otherwise a very good team.
Yeah, it is a very good team, and it will come down to Royal Challengers Bangalore's bowling versus this brilliant batting of Lucknow Super Giants, and it'll also come down to who will be able to grab that top position in the points table, because whoever wins tonight then has the same points as Gujarat Titans, and then it'll come down to net run rate. And so if one team today can win emphatically, maybe, just maybe, they might go right up to the table. But definitely the top two is that position is up for grabs. So who is it going to be? Will it be Royal Challengers Bangalore? Will it be Lucknow Super Giants? Now you look at their campaigns so far. Both teams have got 4 wins from 6 matches. And like we said, RCB's lower order has fired. Dinesh Karthik just showing that he's far from being finished. That he's really he's rediscovering himself, and he's reinventing batting as a finisher. Okay, then we also have Quinton de Kock and Rahul, highest scorers for Lucknow Super Giants. Can Faf Du Plessis, Anuj Rawat and Virat Kohli find the consistency? If they do, then Royal Challengers Bangalore look good to go all the way to the playoffs. Now also, since we've been talking about Dinesh Karthik, should we talk a little bit about Dinesh Karthik, the finisher? How good has he been? And to even hear him in these post-match presentation and in the press conference as well, where he's talked about how he's trained and practiced for these particular situations, match situations where things are getting out of hand, run rate's gone up. How do you win the match from there? And he's showing it. Absolutely.
He's shown it in the past also, not only in the IPL, but for India also. In the Nidihas Trophy, we all know what he did with that fantastic 6. He's a brilliant striker of the ball. We don't often give him credit just because he's not built as a hitter. He's not built as a Russell or a Pollard. Therefore, we think, he may not be a great finisher, but he's always been a very destructive hitter of the cricket ball batting in the lower order. And in this tournament, he's taken it to unprecedented levels.
Yeah.
His batting strike rate is the highest in the tournament. His death over strike rate is the highest in the tournament. He's outshining batsmen like, Liam Livingstone, Deepak Hooda, Marcus Stoinis. These are specialists who come in the lower order. Also, the one standout stat for me, Meya, is his acceleration, which is basically how many runs do you score your strike rate in the first 10 delivery. If you see the stat, 214 maximum in the tournament, which means he's not taking time. And when he's coming out to bat, straight away he's going for the big shots and succeeding. And he's succeeded in 4 out of 6 matches. Yes. That is a very high consistency rate for the risk he's taking.
Absolutely. The only thing now is that, in which we will talk about later on in the show, is that the way to stop him is if you get a leg spinner to bowl to him. So, the one of the matchups is that Ravi Bishnoi bowls to Dinesh Karthik, and let's see how he performs then, because his strike rate falls down significantly against wrist spinners. Okay, so that is Dinesh Karthik, the finisher, who's put his hand up and said, look, I am available for the T20 World Cup in case you need me. In fact, he wants to be on that flight to Australia. Okay, then we move on to the bowling units of the two teams. And the moment you look at Royal Challengers Bangalore, this is by far the most balanced bowling unit with world-class bowlers, world-class pacers, and a world-class spinner in Wanindu Hasaranga. Now, again, we thought at one point, Yuzvendra Chahal not being there in this side, will this side be good enough? Do they have a good enough spinner? Wanindu Hasaranga has proved that he's good enough.
Absolutely. And RCB I thought RCB made a mistake to let go of Yuzvendra Chahal, who has been the unsung hero, even they haven't won a title. But last 3-4 seasons, he's been consistently picking 20 to 25 wickets at a brilliant economy rate, brilliant strike rate, year after year, even when he was not a part of the Indian team. But Wanindu Hasaranga has, stepped into his shoes absolutely with ease. He's picking wickets, controlling the middle overs, the highest wicket take of the World T20. Brilliant start to his career for Sri Lanka and in T20 cricket overall.
That's right, but that's not all. You have Harshal Purple Patel, who's been good in the tournament, best economy rate in the middle overs. There's Hazelwood, 4 wickets in 2 matches already. Siraj was expensive and has been expensive in the tournament, though I would think in the last game he would have given hope to a lot of Royal Challengers Bangalore's fans that he is coming back to bowling well in the tournament. Got 2 wickets in that for 30 odd runs. So that is Royal Challengers Bangalore. But what about Lucknow Super Giants? Now, Lucknow Super Giants standout bowler has been Avesh Khan, and along expected lines, but also you feel good when you see someone like an Avesh Khan bowling well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Then it just proves that he's basically telling the world that he's not a one-season hero. He was brilliant in that season, picking up 20-25 wickets or so. But this season again he showed his class. He's been very good with the new ball and in the death overs. He's the only bowler in the tournament, Meya, who's picked 5 wickets, minimum 5 wickets with the new ball and in the death overs. So Avesh Khan is a revelation, their best bowler so far. But he's also got good support. If you see, they've got Ravi Bishnoi in their team. He's not been, people have figured out how to play Ravi Bishnoi in the sense that they are not taking risks against him. If you're not taking risks, therefore he hasn't got many wickets. Correct. But his economy has been decent, 7.16. Krishnappa Gautam has been very restrictive. So he's an interesting character, a lower order hitter who's also been floated at number 3. That experiment failed, but he's been very restrictive. So Krishnappa Gautam has been restrictive for them. Chamira has been a touch expensive, although I think he's bowled well in parts. Holder has picked wickets, again been a touch expensive, but picked wickets, which is important. Andrew Ty and Chamira, as I said, have been expensive, yes, almost going at 10 per over.
Yeah, somewhere you feel like that pressure that is not being built from both sides in terms of, with Avesh Khan, who's that one person who can bowl in the power plays as well as in the death overs. Okay, then we move on to the X-Factor players. Who are the players who can change the game tonight? Who else but Marcus Stoinis? He has to be there. He's done it in the past for Delhi, I remember, in matches where he's completely turned the game on its head. And he is looking good even now. He walked into this playing 11 and, showed what he's capable of. So Marcus Stoinis definitely.
Absolutely, ma'am. Marcus Stoinis, what he did against the Royals, I mean, that they were in LSG were in an impossible, hopeless position.
Yes.
By the end of it, they almost stealed it. I mean, 38 out of 17 deliveries against a bowling lineup of the Royals caliber. Royals has, I think, perhaps 4 world-class bowlers: Chahal, Ashwin, Prasidh Krishna bowled, and the performance came against them. So that shows his class. Marcus Stoinis has been a very high scorer in the BBL, as you can see, highest scorer since 2018. Death over strike rate is also 170. Versatile cricketer, opener, 1 down, 2 down, batting number 8 also. Very handy bowler, right arm, medium fast. So a great utility cricketer to have in your 11.
And someone that they should promote up, like we already said.
Absolutely.
Okay, then we talk about Glenn Maxwell again. Missed the first couple of matches because he'd gone for his wedding. But he came back and said, look, I want to get right into the groove, and that's what he did. Strike rate of 189.36 in this IPL already, and looking good. 55 of 34 versus Delhi Capitals, and yes, Dinesh Karthik did add to the total, but he was the one who, was instrumental in getting the total up to 180.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Maxwell is one of the most destructive batsmen in limited overs cricket history. His ODI strike rate, I think, is the second best of all time after only Joss Butler. So Glenn Maxwell, he's like a tornado. His career transformed after he switched from Punjab to RCB. He fits into the whole RCB, the larger sort of RCB ethos.
Yeah.
And he's gelling very well with the likes of Virat Kohli, Faf Du Plessis. One can see that in his batting. He's confident. Unlike when he was playing for Kings 11 Punjab, where he looked subdued and had a horrendous season before last.
Yes.
Not only scoring 100 odd runs at a strike rate of just 105, 110, but this year, last year he was sensational. I think he's just continued and picked it up from there.
That's right. Okay, so for all of you who are just joining us, Lucknow Super Giants have won the toss at the D.Y. Patil Stadium, and they have opted to bowl first. Both teams, Royal Challengers Bangalore as well as Lucknow Super Giants, have gone in with the same playing 11 from the last game. Faf Du Plessis at the toss has said that, that if I won the toss, I would have surprised you by bowling first, and he smiled. So there's another joke there. Nobody wants to bat first after winning the toss, despite having matches gone in the way of teams batting first. We saw one example being last night's game between Rajasthan Royals and Kolkata Knight Riders. KL Rahul also said that, at this stage, every team likes to chase, which we've seen so far in the tournament. Pitch report, they say that the surface seems very dry. It has less grass on one end compared to the other end. This is Kevin Peterson's pitch report. So, yeah. But we've seen at DY Patil so far that 170 seems to be the average score, and still in favor of teams batting first. Results have been in favor of teams batting first. Also, Lucknow Super Giants haven't lost a game here in the IPL so far, whereas for Royal Challengers Bangalore, they have lost 2 and won 1.
Lost 2 and won 1. DY Patil is an interesting ground. It's still marginally in favor of the team chasing, if you see 6-4 team chasing, but which also means that batting first isn't too much of a disadvantage. I think it's just winning the toss and chasing first, Meha, is now it's gone beyond logic. It's superstition. Now it's that teams are not willing to take the risk of breaking the norm. I think the team captain which does must be given an award. So RCB won 2 at the venue. I mean, they've lost 2 matches and won 1. Lucknow yet to be beaten. They won both the matches, so they'll be very confident. The ground dimensions are very interesting. The side boundaries are longer. If you play in the view, you get value for your shots. It's a dryish surface, so spinners might come into play in the second half. So overall, a very very even contest between 2, I think, very evenly matched sides.
Yeah, it is an even contest between 2 evenly managed sides, but it also comes down to what the former captain of RCB is going to do in this season. If RCB wants to do well in this tournament, Virat Kohli, the batsman, needs to come good. And right now, with those 2 runouts, Nikhil, I don't know what's going on. And this phase of uncertainty with Virat Kohli is just carried on a bit too long.
It is now. I mean, it is now, what, 2.5 years since that last 100. I mean, it's amazing actually how a player of Virat Kohli's caliber has fallen. And now, now it has come to the point where people are not expecting him to score. I mean, imagine that.
Yeah, he's not in Fantasy 11. Today, he's not in my Fantasy 11.
Imagine that. Virat Kohli is not in the Fantasy 11. So, it's shocking that we don't expect Virat Kohli to score anymore. I mean, it's just, he's not looking that the same batsman used to come out, used to dominate bowling attacks, getting run out. I mean, Virat Kohli never gets run out.
By the way, that's the Fantasy 11 for today. And if all of you followed our Fantasy 11 yesterday, you would have got a lot of points, because we had Jos Buttler as the captain and Yuzvendra Chahal as the vice captain. Today I've gone in with KL Rahul. Let's see how that works. But Dinesh Karthik is there, had to be there. Second name on that sheet. Faf Du Plessis, differential pick. Quinton de Kock, Mr. Consistent. Glenn Maxwell, big hitter, can change the game on its head. Shahbaz Ahmed, again, spin, constantly telling you that, look, I'm here. I can bat with whoever you want me to bat with, and he's been doing that. So that's the Fantasy 11.
Hazelwood, Bishnoi picked themselves. Deepak Hooda started tournament very well. Fantastic hitter. Hasaranga, highest wicket taker for RCB. And of course, Marcus Stoinis, the X-factor all-rounder. No Virat Kohli in this fantasy.
No Virat Kohli. And I've only gone in with Ravi Bishnoi, despite him not getting too many wickets in the tournament so far, because the pitch is slightly helpful for the spinners, and so I just
also
he's due.
We need to get Dinesh Karthik out somehow.
That's true. We need to get Dinesh Karthik out, and the only hope is Ravi Bishnoi, given the kind of form that Dinesh Karthik is in. So all of you who've just joined us, Lucknow Super Giants have won the toss. They have opted to bowl first. No surprises there at the DY Patil Stadium. Both teams have gone in with the same playing 11 from the last game. Royal Challengers Bangalore's likely 11 also, if we could, playing 11 that we could look at. There you go. And I would just think this match is about RCB's bowling versus Lucknow Super Giants batting. If they can, they can get them out for this is not Brabant, this is DY Patil. So anywhere under 160, 170 70, it's game on.
It is game on. I want to see changes in that batting order though, May. I don't know what your opinion is, but I want Virat Kohli to open because this is not happening.
Yeah,
it's not
also because now
him.
Glenn Maxwell's back. So you have that experience. I would understand why opening earlier on without Glenn Maxwell's absence would make sense. But now that Glenn Maxwell's back in the middle order, you would want him to open.
Make use of the power play. Also, you slow down again. Spin bowling, it has been a problem for the last couple of seasons. Do something different because otherwise this rut is going to continue.
That's right. And also Virat Kohli against the spinners hasn't improved there as well. So opening would only make it better for him. Just hard ball in the power plays. I think he can just go for his shot straight away. So yes, that's the playing 11 for Royal Challengers Bangalore. Let's also take a look at some key battles now. What are these key battles that we're looking forward to? One in the power play has to be the in-form KL Rahul versus Muhammad Siraj. Like I said, in the last game, Muhammad Siraj did redeem himself. And this battle is going to be interesting because so far, KL Rahul's been winning this battle, but can Muhammad Siraj turn it around?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very one-sided battle and very surprising numbers. How Rahul has dominated Siraj, striking almost at 200 per 100 balls, not even dismissed once. And Siraj is not in form. Rahul is in good form. Let's see whether Siraj, comes back today. Also, an interesting matchup in the power play could be Rahul versus Glenn Maxwell. That's some interesting numbers. 4 innings, 20 runs in 18 balls and 2 wickets. So which is interesting that Maxwell has got, the off-spinner has got Rahul out. The ball will come in. I mean, clearly there is something happening there. So let's see whether, this happens or not, whether Maxwell bowls to Rahul in the power play or not. Yeah.
Okay, then the other one is Faf Du Plessis versus Avesh Khan. Like I said, Avesh Khan has been the most impactful bowler for Lucknow Super Giants and Faf Du Plessis hasn't been able to get going against Avesh Khan in the past. 1 dismissal. But look at that, clearly. This is going to be an interesting battle. Who will win this one today?
Absolutely. I mean, Avesh Khan is, as it is, a very restrictive bowler. And against to restrict someone of the caliber of Faf Du Plessis to basically a strike rate of 110, that is some exceptional bowling. And he's also dismissed him once. So that's going to be interesting. Today, we might see the destructive Faf Du Plessis. I think he'll take some calculated risks.
Okay. Then in the middle overs has to be Dinesh Karthik versus Lex Spinners because this is an interesting one. Dinesh Karthik has struggled against leg spin. So I guess the only way to stop him now is to get someone like a Ravi Bishnoi to bowl to him. 14 innings and take a look at that. 7 dismissals there, 47 balls, 42 runs. The strike rate goes down. I mean, what are we talking about? First 10 balls, you said the strike rate was 214.
Yes.
We've got to get Ravi Bishnoi to bowl to him.
You have to reserve Bishnoi, and therefore it becomes very interesting that how do you strategize. You have to save at least 1 over Ravi Bishnoi for Dinesh Karthik because his strike rate against pace in this tournament is touching 200. Overall since 2020 it's 156. It's very high. He's not getting out to pace bowling and he's scoring very high in the death overs against pace bowling. Leg spinners have been his weakness. Right arm wrist spinners, conventional leg spin and googly specialists like Bishnoi have been his weakness. Therefore, I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup.
In fact, Dinesh Karthik has been, as we've been saying, in red-hot form. And if you look at his stats so far, highest run scorer for Royal Challengers Bangalore, 197 runs in 6 matches. But the one that stands out that Nikhil's been talking about as well is his strike rate in the first 10 balls, of 214, which is the maximum in this IPL. Not taking any time to get going.
Absolutely.
From the word go, he starts going for his shots and he connects them beautifully. And we've seen them not just in 1 or 2 innings. He's done it more than a couple of times. 4 high-impact innings there.
In 6 matches. So that is very consistent for someone who takes that much risk. And which means a strike rate of 214 for the first 10 balls means he's scoring around 22, 23 first 10 deliveries. So that is fantastic. Under pressure, when Faf and Virat are not playing, he's coming out to bat under pressure, either to provide the impetus or you're chasing 12, 13 and over. And then to deliver 4 out of 6 times, I mean, hats off to Dinesh Karthik.
Hats off to Dinesh Karthik and hats off to him, not just to because the way he's playing, but the preparation that's gone into it and the belief that he's had. I mean, he's spoken about how he wasn't happy with himself last season and that he felt like he could have performed much better. And he is doing that already. I mean, to have him do this in the first half of the season, it's incredible. And RCB must be really thankful to have bought him in the auction, because he has been the difference there.
Absolutely.
Or RCB would have struggled in this tournament already.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so Lucknow Super Giants, having won the toss, opted to bowl first at the T.Y. Patil Stadium, and both teams, Royal Challengers Bangalore as well as Lucknow Super Giants, have gone in with the same playing 11. Important one here, whoever wins tonight will be able to get into the top 2 in the points table. Of course, net run rate is going to be a factor, but Gujarat Titans right now at the top, and whoever wins tonight will go in with same points, which is 10 points. These two teams have already won 4 matches, so 8 points each for them out of 6. Whoever wins today will go to 2, if not 1, depending on the net run rate.
If you see
depending on how emphatic the win will be. Yes.
So if you see, if LSG wins, because they have a higher net run rate, they may actually topple Gujarat Titans and bag the #1 position today. For RCB, the margin of victory will need to be just a little bit more for that to happen tonight.
That's right. But look at that table. How many of them, how many of the teams that we predicted are in there? RR, I predicted RR. You said RR as dark horses.
Yeah.
Lucknow Super Giants, we said.
Yes.
GT, nobody thought.
GT, nobody thought.
At the beginning.
I'm hoping at the end of the...
Actually, these 3 nobody thought. RCB, SRH and GT.
Punjab Kings should make it. I'm hoping that happens. Yeah. But yeah, let's see what happens. But see, we also said that KKR and CSK will not qualify, and that seems to be happening even after KKR's fantastic start. So that was the sort of a big preview that we said KKR and CSK, who by the way were the finalists last season, won't make it to the playoff.
Yeah, but CSK and Mumbai are just in shambles. Mumbai not having been able to win a single game so far, and some of those matches in which they've been lost by, I mean, they've really lost badly.
They're playing CSK next.
Yeah, to see Mumbai Indians, the most successful team in the tournament, lose like that. Okay, Faf Du Plessis and Anuj Rawat, they've opened the innings for Royal Challengers Bangalore.
I mean, clearly Virat Kohli is not opening, so...
That's not happening. But Faf Du Plessis and Anuj Rawat have opened the innings for Royal Challengers Bangalore. Today is also Deepak Huda's birthday. So happy birthday, Deepak Huda.
You can promote him up the order. Why not? They have such a deep batting lineup. Send Deepak Huda at 3. Please demote Manish Pandey.
But I mean, I would think that these two teams, given how their campaign's gone so far, would be happy with their performance.
Very
would be satisfied with what they've done.
Absolutely. I mean, LSG is their first tournament. I mean, they'll be thrilled with their campaign. So they are doing brilliantly. Also, RCB would be pretty happy given that they had picked a decent team, but I won't say they had the strongest team at the end of the auction. Not the strongest team, but a decent team. I had questions in their middle order batting. So this Dinesh Karthik has been a revelation. Also, Shabazz has done well. So there were concerns about the middle order batting.
Exactly. There have always been concerns about their middle order and lower order batting. But the difference from the last seasons have been that, you've now got Dinesh Karthik, who's finishing matches for you, Shahbaz Ahmed, who is playing the supporting role really well with him. And I think Royal Challengers Bangalore would have been pleasantly surprised at how well Dinesh Karthik is batting.
Absolutely.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, before the first match, I don't think anyone would have thought that this is how Dinesh Karthik would be batting so far in the tournament. And even for Lucknow Super Giants, there's one thing that you get a good team, but to be able to execute your plans, and they've done it. And if you compare the bowling, there are some weaknesses there for Lucknow Super Giants with their foreign fast bowler struggling. Though with that, Chamira is bowling the first over to them. So what will it be? Any predictions for today?
I think LSG have the edge. Just a better team, slightly better team. I think LSG have the edge. Close match, but I think LSG will pull it off.
Okay, so with that, we've come to the end of this. Hope you enjoy the match tonight. Also, News 9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to if you want to get the latest from the world of sports. We do a lot of interviews with players. There are analysis videos. And it's not just cricket, but other sports as well. Also today, we interviewed Aiden Markram from Sunrisers Hyderabad. And I asked him about Kane Williamson, whether he actually ever loses his cool. So if you want to know what the answer was, you need to go check that out. The interview is on our YouTube channel on News 9 Sports. So go take a look at that as well. And follow it. Press the bell icon so you get the notification every time we upload a new video. That's it from Nikhil and me. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.